Hey, this is Brooke, functional medicine dietitian specializing in fertility, and this is the Fertility Dietitian Podcast, where I help you uncover the barriers that are preventing you from optimizing your fertility and teach you how to work with your body to finally take home a healthy baby. Each week, I will be diving into different topics on fertility and sharing my perspective on physiology, metabolic health, nutrition, and lifestyle approaches that have helped hundreds of couples get pregnant even after years of heartache. My goal is to empower you with the knowledge you need to take back control of your fertility. Happy listening. Hey friends, and welcome back to the Fertility Dietitian Podcast. Today, we're talking all about estrogen balance. What estrogen actually does in the body, how both high and low estrogen can impact fertility, and most importantly, what you can do to support estrogen in a healthy and sustainable way. Estrogen is often pointed out as the villain, especially if you've been told that you have estrogen dominance. But here's the truth. Estrogen is essential for fertility, pregnancy, and overall health. Also, we don't want to eliminate estrogen. We want to help her stay balanced and working with your body, not against it. So let's talk about what estrogen actually does in the body. Estrogen plays a really critical role in building a healthy uterine lining so an embryo can implant. Regulating ovulation timing is done by estrogen as well. It also supports cervical mucus, amount, and quality. It even helps maintain bone density and protects your heart health. Also, really important for supporting brain function and mood. Without adequate estrogen, or when estrogen is actually being poorly metabolized, fertility outcomes can suffer, as well as your overall health, okay? Because estrogen can be inflammatory or shuttle down less inflammatory pathways, which we will talk about more. And this is so important that both high and low estrogen are linked to infertility, okay? So it's kind of like a Goldilocks hormone. We don't want too much. We don't want too little. It needs to be just right. Okay. It's not a more is better hormone. It's really about the balance. It's about timing of when she is arriving and how your body is processing estrogen. One of the biggest misconceptions I see is this, that estrogen is normal, so it can't be a problem. But there's a lot of nuance here. Estrogen can be normal in a lab range, but if it's being processed or metabolized poorly, or if progesterone is too low, you can still experience high estrogen symptoms. And this estrogen progesterone balance is what really determines PMS, period flow, cycle length, implantation success, a piece of the puzzle, of course, and pregnancy maintenance. Okay. And just a little teaser. We're diving deep into progesterone again soon. I do have previous episodes on progesterone, so you can check out last season's podcast and we will link the episode in the show notes for this one as well. But progesterone plays a massive role in keeping estrogen in check. So let's talk about symptoms, because your body is always communicating. Symptoms commonly associated with high estrogen include heavy or clotty periods. We want that honey-like flow, okay? So if you're not seeing that, estrogen can definitely be involved in what's happening with your flow. Breast tenderness, PMS or mood swings, fibroids, and infertility can all be signs and symptoms of high estrogen. Symptoms commonly associated with low estrogen include night sweats, trouble with sleeping, low libido, vaginal dryness, and also infertility or trouble getting pregnant, aka subfertility here at the Fertility Dietitian. And yes, both ends of the spectrum, high estrogen and low estrogen, can interfere with time to conception. But here's the empowering part. Estrogen metabolism is heavily influenced by nutrition and lifestyle. Some of the biggest factors I see in practice include barriers in the gut and the liver. Your gut bacteria play a role in whether estrogen is eliminated properly or reabsorbed and recirculated. Pretty cool, right? If gut health is compromised, estrogen that should leave the body can actually be recycled, worsening symptoms. Your liver is also responsible for processing estrogen, and it needs a lot of nutrients to do that job well. All right. And really, a lot of the nutrients are found in our protein rich foods, but our fibers are very, very important for both of these pieces for gut and liver support of estrogen metabolism, as are a lot of antioxidants too. Blood sugar balance is another big area that is going to influence estrogen metabolism. Blood sugar instability increases inflammation and insulin resistance, both of which can disrupt hormone signaling and estrogen metabolism. Estrogen metabolism relies on nutrients like B vitamins and magnesium and zinc and antioxidants. So deficiencies in these areas can actually slow down detox pathways and create more of that imbalance of hormones. Also, another area that can impact estrogen levels is going to be over exercising and under fueling. Too much stress, whether it's physical or metabolic type stress, can suppress estrogen production and disrupt ovulation, or just give you more symptomatic cycles if you are cycling. Body weight is another area that can impact estrogen. It can be overweight or underweight, both impacting estrogen. The extremes can interfere with estrogen production and signaling. Genetics can definitely play a role too. So some women are genetically process estrogen faster or slower or down more inflammatory pathways than others, which is why a one-size-fits-all approach never works. So even if you are genetically susceptible to a high or low estrogen or a certain estrogen metabolism state, doesn't mean you can't shift the expression of those genes. Okay. Most things in our body are not just inherently genetic. They can be influenced. Our risk can be shifted. Even if we have a higher risk than others, because of our genetic makeup, we can actually shift the expression of those genes with nutrition and lifestyle. That's always something really important to remember when it comes to genetics. It's not just something you can just throw in the towel and be like, well, it's just genetic, because there is typically a lot that you can do to shift the expression of those genes. All right. So my top 3 nutrition and lifestyle tips to support estrogen balance include increasing fiber and probiotics. So fiber and probiotic rich foods support that healthy gut microbiome. And there's actually a specific microbiome environment in the gut that's called the estrobolome that impacts estrogen balance. So this is a big deal. And this matters because a healthy gut bacteria can actually help eliminate excess estrogen more efficiently, decrease that recycling impact that can happen. And we know that poor gut health increases estrogen recirculation, which we definitely want to decrease. So think vegetables and berries and beans and fermented foods as supporting this environment. Also, reducing exposure to endocrine-disrupting chemicals is really important. EDCs mimic estrogen in the body. And I have a whole podcast about this from season 1. We'll link that in the show notes as well. But they actually increase the estrogen burden, increase the stress on the liver, make it harder to manage hormones effectively. And you might find these endocrine disrupting chemicals in places like plastics, conventional beauty products, fragrances, household cleaners. Small swaps really make big differences over time. So this is an area you have to pay attention to when you're thinking about estrogen balance. and overall egg quality and reproduction. Also, it's super important for all pieces of fertility, even on the male side too. Next tip is supporting liver function with nutrition. Your liver has many jobs and estrogen metabolism is just one of them. So nourishing the liver with real food helps with estrogen balance. And we want to really help process estrogen efficiently to maintain that hormone balance. And this is not about detoxes. It's about supporting those detox pathways with daily nourishment. So thinking about protein is really, really important, especially high quality animal protein, because of the nutrients that are coming from those types of proteins are essential for supporting the pathways that estrogen is going down and making sure your liver has enough of the nutrients to shuttle it down less inflammatory pathways is going to be really helpful. Lifestyle factors definitely impact both gut and liver function too, to better support estrogen balance as well. So exercise and movement in the right amounts while you're nourishing your body well is going to be really supportive, and supporting blood flow, which is going to support the liver and the gut. Sleep quality is very important because that rest and repair period is so important for that bacterial balance environment, giving that liver time to really do its thing. And light exposure. So circadian rhythm and supporting our hormones and how they respond to our day-to-day environment makes a big deal for gut lining. We can actually repair our gut lining with appropriate sunlight with just in a few days. Okay, so it's a really, really important to think about limiting screen time, especially first thing in the morning, getting that sunrise sunlight in. And then honoring the darkness when it is nighttime, dimming lights, turning off screens is also going to be helpful for gut and liver function as well. And you might be wondering about supplements. This is where I'm going to lovingly help you pump the brakes. Blindly supplementing is bad news. Supplements meant to lower estrogen can actually worsen symptoms, disrupt ovulation, create new imbalances. Instead, I recommend testing to meet your body where it's at before adding in a bunch of supplements. Okay. The food and nutrition pieces are safe and supportive. It's really hard to throw estrogen off outside of what our body is biologically designed to do with those types of supports. But supplements are a different ball game. Okay. And if we don't know what's happening with your metabolism picture, adding in a supplement can be bad news. Blood tests don't really give us a full picture when we're thinking about testing to see what's happening with estrogen. Blood estrogen is helpful, but it doesn't tell us how estrogen's being metabolizing, why it's low or high, or whether it's contributing to symptoms. So that's why determining why estrogen is imbalanced is step one. This is exactly why I use the Dutch test with my clients who we really need to dig into estrogen balance with. It allows us to see estrogen production and metabolism. It allows us to identify detox pathway issues, understand the estrogen progesterone relationship, and create a targeted plan instead of just guessing. And this is often not a first line test that I use. It's just the one that we can get most specific with estrogen balance with. I use a lot of mineral testing and gut health testing as first line because we can see a lot of positive improvements in estrogen by focusing on those more underlying foundational reasons that estrogen can be out of balance first. Okay, so remember, estrogen's not the enemy. She's really essential for a healthy cycle, successful implantation, and long-term health too. Remember, she's involved in bone health and brain health and heart health. Super important. The goal isn't to suppress estrogen, it's to support the balance of estrogen by supporting your gut and your liver and learning how to work with your body to do this. We have so much content on, supporting progesterone balance as well, which is another piece of the puzzle for supporting estrogen. So definitely check out those links that we'll put in the show notes there. But if this episode resonated with you, please share it with your trying to conceive bestie. Leave a review, and I will see you next week. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Fertility Dietitian Podcast. If you enjoyed it, please leave a review to let me know what topics you want more of or less of. If you want to keep learning, subscribe at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out my website for more info on my private coaching program, Master Your Fertility, or my membership community, Fertility Blueprint. And don't forget my digital store. Come say hi on YouTube and Instagram. See you in the next episode.